So one of my favorite things for as long as I can remember has always been music. Ever since I was a kid, this was the one thing that has never changed about me. Fun fact, when I was about 6, I discovered my favorite song, Loves Me Like I Rock by Paul Simon. Still the best song I have ever heard. It's not even, objectively, I don't think it's the best song ever. But just for nostalgia's sake, I put it number 1. But something that I oftentimes find myself in a weird situation is that I don't seem to understand pop music. Or rather, I guess I should say I don't understand modern pop. You know, all the music, Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, whatever else, you kids are listening to Billie Eilish. And honestly, it doesn't bug me for the fact of like me sticking out, but what bugs me is that I feel like an old person. Like, I don't want to be that weird guy that's still into 70s and 80s music when everyone else has already kind of moved on, but at the same time, I've tried to like get into more newer music. I have listened to like the new Taylor Swift album, I've listened to some of Billie Eilish. I try, but for some reason, it doesn't click with my brain. Something about it just feels off. I've had several theories about this, but today, I think I finally narrowed it down. So the first thing I considered was that perhaps the reason I didn't like modern music is because of autotune. Autotune's been around for quite some time, but now it's become a tool used by musicians rather than just as like a little boost. It's now their primary source of kind of singing style. It adds a whole new flair, it's got kind of a cool sound to it, it works great for hip hop and pop, but maybe my problem is that these people can't sing without autotune. Granted, I have watched the videos, we've all seen the videos of people, of Britney Spears not being able to keep pitch, but going through these, I've discovered a lot of these people are actually good at singing. As much as it pains me to say, Justin Bieber can keep pitch. And in the same way, I think people like Billie Eilish, Ariana Grande, all these people can sing. Like, they are capable of singing without autotune, and it doesn't sound that pitchy most of the time, and even sounds decent 90% of the time. There are big exceptions, but for the most part, these people are capable of singing, and I think they kind of do take it seriously. So with that theory out of the way, I moved on to theory number 2. It's gotta be the words. This argument kind of, I suppose, still stands up when it comes to me, but at the same time, I feel like it doesn't contribute 100% of why I dislike modern music. And I think this can be made really clear with an album I found recently, Revamp, the songs of Elton John and Bernie Taupin. Elton and Bernie have been my biggest inspirations the last couple of years. It's one of the biggest reasons that I have focused so much on learning piano the last couple of years. And Bernie Taupin's lyrics are legendary. Like, they're really, really good. I looked into this album because I was kind of interested to see what all these different artists kind of did. And while I feel like they could sing, it brought up kind of an interesting little gimmick that most of them did. And to demonstrate this, because I cannot play the music for you, we're gonna hop over to the piano. Alright, so here we are at the piano. I'm gonna just do my best to kind of demonstrate what I'm talking about with these songs. So first off, we have one of Elton's famous songs, Tiny Dancer, goes like this. However, in this album, the one by The Machine, I think it was, put the name right here, it goes more like this. The problem here isn't that this is bad by any means, it actually sounds great. The problem is the only way they change this melody up is by removing notes. They just remove notes, and all of these songs on this album are like this. Your song, which goes something like this, was changed to, in Lady Gaga's version, something more like this. I don't think I have it exactly right. Those of you who want to can look it up, and you'll see pretty much exactly what I mean. I don't have any problem with these styles or anything, The problem is it feels very minimalistic on the music part. And these songs just aren't minimalistic piano songs. They're very detailed, very good songs. Like I said, I don't want to come across as a boomer here, but my point being is that these are the exact same lyrics written by a great lyricist and composed by a great musician, but I feel like these versions just kind of go bare bones when it comes to their mix. Like they didn't really give it, and that's kind of sad because I kind of like the singing in most of them, but it feels like when it comes to the mix, they were just like, remove 2 notes. I think we got it good now. But last and certainly not least, I think this speaks more. But last but not least, while I think that words and lyrics and everything do come from a place where you have to have some experience. You can't just write about a theoretical situation and get very deep, or you just seem like you're just trying to be deep without any experience and it just comes across as cheesy. But I think the real problem I have with modern music that keeps me from enjoying it or appreciating it in any way is just the way that it's written. Modern music is all made a computer. You got your producer who does 90% of the work. Granted, these artists contribute a lot. I'm not trying to cut down the work or say that these people don't have talent. They obviously do. But when I think about like my process of writing songs, it's always an instrument, most of the time the piano. And you can just do a lot more with that than when you have to try to keep a track. I've made songs purely digital before, and yeah, they're very one note. It's like I'm a one-trick pony when I do that. It keeps me from mixing things up. It keeps me from trying more than a couple chords. And it just comes across as a completely different process. I think that's why it comes to when like old artists are trying new styles. Like you had both Elton and Paul McCartney kind of do newer style. Granted, they're still kind of more experimental because they aren't trying like modern pop. But they did try to modernize their approach to music in their newest albums. But they're still musicians at a keyboard, at a guitar, at something like that, coming up with these songs. And I think it comes through. Like I said, I don't think these musicians, most of these are bad. In fact, I think some of them are pretty decent. And it wouldn't surprise me if in the future we see some really good music from these artists. But I think the biggest problem is that nowadays music is fueled by the internet. When you think of Justin Bieber's iconic songs, most of us don't think of his actual good songs. We think of Baby, or whatever the heck it's called. Same way when we think of like Elton and Billy, we think of it from like the memes. You know, we think of Piano Man, the harmonica part of Piano Man as Kermit jumps off the building. Because of this, songs that stick with us are always outrageous or cringy or bad. So it really diminishes an artist's value, especially when their lifespan is so limited because of how fast the internet moves. So in a way, maybe the problem I have with modern music doesn't have anything to do with the music at all, but rather that these artists don't have a chance to get good before they completely lose the spotlight. I mean, come on, we've all heard our favorite artists' first 2 albums. They're never the best. But when so much of that hype is from this new singer coming out, that's gonna be mostly what we remember them for. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know what your favorite music is, especially modern music. Is there anything that I don't know about, any artist that you guys would recommend? Maybe I could get over myself and actually seem less like a boomer and actually appreciate this newer music. Like I said, I think these people have a lot of talent. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think there's a lot of factors going into this. But most importantly, I think the important thing for us to do is to continue to support musicians that we like, rather than hopping on bandwagons. But yeah, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.